Yo, yo, yo. Oh, there we go. All right. Bet. All right. What are we doing? Let me pull this up. So I didn't do a video this month. Um, so I'm like, man, let me just come on here and do it live real quick. Let me check this audio. Hold on one second. Make sure this sound coming through right. It looks like it is, but I'm not seeing it. Might just be because it's low. Okay. Oh, it is just coming in low. Hold on. Don't do. That should do it. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna turn it up here too. All right, bet. So yeah, I usually do tutorials every month on my YouTube. Um, I think I'm streaming this on IG too. I'm not exactly sure. I don't usually do lives on IG, so I don't know how it's coming out. Um, so if it's whatever. This is super impromptu. Um, I wanted to do a maybe like a couple months ago. I did a breakdown of this song called "Promises" that I did with this artist named Leaky Bands in Atlanta with music majors and Ruel, and it was like a tutorial about taking a sample and turning the sample into or replaying or remaking a sample, right? And I talked about how I've gotten like a handful of placements by being able to do this. And so one of the things I teach is sound design for producers, right? Um, which I think is like super important if you ever as a producer or an engineer, honestly, if you want to be able to like craft out your own type of sound, like to sound like you, for one at first to figure out what that even means. Um, and obviously it's something that develops over time, right? And so I was kind of going through this old session. This is from like over 10 years ago. This is from 2015, I think. Um, th- yeah, 2015. So that's 11 years um, ago. And listening to this is cool because I can see like I can hear where I wasn't as refined as I am now, as far as like my ear and my technical ability. But I was so creative still that I was able to like do this, right? So this is a song called this was Hey There by Dej Loaf and Future. This is my first placement, right? My first major placement. Meaning this was the first song I ever did where an artist was signed to a major. She was signed to Columbia at the time. And and yeah, so it was my first time like being a part of that process of like, okay, I had to get an attorney, figure out how to get paid, interface with the label, interface with her manager. Like this was stuff I'd never done before, right? So um, it was my first time going through that process. Then getting paid, like getting a check from the label, then getting my publishing and all that set up, and you know, um, getting residuals. And like I still get residuals from this song to this day. So I want to break down like how I kind of my process of going about doing this, which is it's kind of funny, but um, okay. So I'm gonna play. This is what I got. This is what he sent me. So this was not like just some play that just kind of like I didn't like grind and hustle to get this on my own, right? Right here you see I Rock Says. That's my boy Kyle, amazing producer, one of my oldest producer friends. Um, he was probably the first producer in Detroit. Now I remember going over his house one time, and at the time, like he was staying with his dad or something, and we were probably like 18. Um, and he was making beats in the attic, of his dad's house. And I remember going up there and we was just kicking it, and I'm listening to these beats, and I'm like, yo, this nigga is so good at me. This dude is so good at music, bro. It was the first time, because I was an arrogant, kid, especially when it came to music. Like I just thought like I was just him. And that was the first time I ever heard another producer who was like around my same age that like humbled me, like really humbled me, that really showed me like, oh nah, like I gotta work harder, like I gotta be better than I am, you know. And I've always loved and appreciated Kyle because that he's always kind of like pushed me in that way, not in like a competition sense, but just like as a peer, you know what I'm saying? Um, so anyway, he is the reason I got my first placement. So he was working with Dej on this song, and he already had done another song with her called Back Up. That was with her and Big Sean, and so this was another one. And so he was like, "Yo, they wanna, it's a sample, and they don't want to clear the sample." So he sent it to me to remake it. So I'm like, "All right, cool, right?" So this is what I get, right? Now, mind you, I don't have any lyrics, nothing like that. This is all I have, right? So I'm gonna just play this. Whoa, my bad. That's mad loud. Let me turn this back down. All right, cool. So this is the beat, the original beat he made with the sample. All right. So he sends me this. He's like, "Can you remake it?" I'm like, "All right, cool." So let me check something real quick. Okay, I think I need to change this to this. Yeah, it was D2. All right, cool. So all right. So this is this session is actually probably like the third iteration of this, right? Because I remember Usually when I get stuff like this, I force myself to not overthink it, right? The first thing I do is I just go straight forward, right? I literally just um idea dump. The first thing that comes out, I just do it, right? Because I want it to be natural and I want to try to keep the feel, but also make it different enough so that we can actually like we don't have to get any sample clearance, right? So that's what I did. And I thought personally, now obviously like I'm not attached to the record at this point. I haven't even heard the song. So I thought that what I did initially was perfect. It was still really good, all of that. But what happened was we sent it to them and they were like, it sounds too different. So they were already attached like emotionally to this version. So what I ended up with was basically just remaking this almost exactly like it is. Whereas my first version had the same feel, but it was I made it my own. But eventually, I kind of like kept dialing it back till eventually what I got was basically just remaking the song this with my own sounds, right? Um, which ended up with us still having to get it cleared because they didn't believe that we actually took the sample out. It sounded so close. So I guess that's kind of a compliment in a way. Um, but it would have been a better compliment if I could have kept all my money. So either way, either way. Uh, all right, so this is what I had. That sounds kind of crazy in context, but um, if I was to take, uh, what is that? That's so. Oh, this one is loud. Turn that down because in the real mix, it's real quiet. And this is louder. So what I ended up doing, and some of this stuff I don't even think they used, but the main thing, obviously. So if we listen to this again, you can hear the little bells. That's the main line, right? So that's this right here. So that's what I did. I added this pad. Just to kind of give it, because it's very like ethereal. So matter of fact, let me play the original because I got this is the original song that we sampled. It's Odessa, Always This Late. So you can hear that little guitar. That's what that is. That kind of got that little choppy thing I was trying to remake. So I can find the other sounds. Yeah, so there's the little vocal part. Oh, so here it goes. So he sampled the end primarily. Right. Okay. So it's Odessa. It's an EDM it's an electronic duo. I think. I think they're a duo. Um, I actually, while I was on tour, I think with her, I feel like we opened up for them at some festival. Or maybe I was with. I can't remember who I was with, but I remember I was at a festival where we opened up, um, or we performed right before Odessa, who was like closing, I guess, that night, and I wanted to smack the shit out of them for. taking my publishing, but um, we leave the past in the past. So, okay, cool. So that was the original. We heard his, so this is mine. Okay, so let me just walk through all these sounds. This is Absinthe. This was one of my favorite plugins around this time. It still is. I still use it a lot, but not as much as I used to back then. Just remember, this is like 11, almost 12 years ago. So this is just a regular um, preset that I found in here called Astro Signs. I don't even think I did anything to like alter this at all. I'm pretty sure it's like just left exactly as is. But it sounded close enough. It sounded so close to it that I was just like, I mean, it sounded good. Um, this pad, Omnisphere, just like always been one of my go-tos. Celtic Morning. Okay, let's check this out. Anybody who's watched um, any of my like lessons before, or anybody who's been in the actual the 87 Sound Academy, you know how I feel about Omnisphere. Like I stress Omnisphere for any producer, anybody who's like doing any type of musical sound design, you doing stuff for film, whatever. Like you have to have this. If you don't have it, you're missing out on a really really powerful tool. And I know a lot of people that have it just really don't really know how to use it, like don't really know the real power of it. And I didn't know for a long time until I started like actually experimenting. Um, so one of the things I love about it is that you can just stack all these sounds together, right? This is one sound, right? So Celtic Morning, let's just listen to that by itself. So that's cool. So right here where it says oscillator, you have sample, you have synth. So if I was to open this up, it opens up a whole other library of like these are like um, the sound sources that they're using to make the sounds, right? So some of these are samples, which just like random things that they sampled, you know, um, and then other things can be synth. So sample and synth. So if it's a synth, it's just like a regular, like a sine wave, triangles, all the waveforms, stuff like that, right? So you can take all these and combine them together to make really cool sounds. So let's listen to what this one is. Sad Hollow. Right. It's just a cool kind of like almost like 80s sounding like pad, open pad. So together, it sounds pretty cool. Just some basic effects on here, nothing crazy. Cool. So that's a pretty like normal pad, nothing too complicated. What's this? Mind you, I didn't like go through this session beforehand. I literally just found this on my old hard drive. It was like, man, I'm gonna do this today because I didn't do a video this month. All right, this is another absent sound. I just liked it because of that like um, little like voice noise in the background. It kind of gave me like a it reminded me of air. Um, I gotta play this so that to give the context. I'm gonna come back to that. reminded me of this right here. Run this song.
With me, rain on my chest. Stay in bed. I feel sad when you run, 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 run,
So anyway, I gotta give props to my dad for like exposing me to music like this at a young age because a lot of the other producers and artists and people that I was around, they didn't have the frame of reference that I had musically. And so they were always asking me like, "Where are you getting these ideas from? Like, how did you know?" And it's because I was listening to stuff like this, like because my dad did, and so I would listen to it with him all the time. Um, so that's what this felt like to me. That's what this felt like to me. So I don't even know if this actually made it into the final version or not. But if it did, it would be something that would be so like kind of tucked into the mix anyway. Um, Same with this. I don't know if this actually made it in there or not. This was just me trying to recreate um, that acoustic guitar thing they had in there. I knew it was more of a texture thing because it wasn't a big part of this. It wasn't gonna be a big part of it. Like in the actual song, it's more prominent, but here I knew it really wasn't gonna be. So, but I just threw it in because they said they wanted it to sound just like the sample, so I just did it. But my original one, I didn't have anything like this in there. Um, One thing about me is I'm not a copycat. Like I don't just like copying things that people do. That's not my thing. Um, I want to create my own thing. So anyway, the last part is that vocal, the little vocal thing in there. So let me play it again so you can hear it. Okay, cool. So I actually recorded that myself, right? I recorded my own version of it. I changed it a little bit. So let me just play it. Oh, so I don't have the same auto tune version, which is fine. It doesn't matter. Let me solo these. Okay, so this is where the real sound design starts to come in, where you have to really be creative. All this is basic. I literally just recreated the same stuff that was in the sample here. This is too, but like this is a lot more difficult to do. Like, and I had to kind of MacGyver it together to kind of make it make sense, right? So if we listen to this, this is the original. Let me see where the voice comes in. Right here. So you hear it's a lot of stuff going on. All the it's little chops in there, it's reverses, it's all kind of stuff. So I wanted to kind of obviously like I'm just making a loop to set because I don't know what they're gonna use and not use. I'm literally just giving them a palette to choose from, right? So all right, so let's break this down. I'm gonna take everything off. It's gonna sound crazy, but whatever. I don't care. Okay, so even the reverb I have on there isn't. I don't have these plugins anymore, but it's fine. Okay, so this is what I mean. Like I sang this. Like okay. All right, here we go. I'm gonna take everything off. Now chop that up. Okay, so what I the actual line that I sang, that's pretty much all I did. Everything else is me chopping and then like messing around with stuff, right? So the first thing I did was I added autotune, which isn't I don't have this version of auto. This is an older version. I just don't have it anymore. Um, I did sound shifter, right, to pitch my voice up, and then I added a chorus. That's it with the autotune, obviously. And then I had reverb, which isn't. Um, this is another old plugin. This is from 12 years ago, so um, another plugin I don't have anymore. Okay, so that's what that becomes. Same thing with this one. This one has the same plugins on it. So this is where some of the creativity starts to come in on this one. So that is a reverse reverb. This is just a lot of stock Logic one. I actually have a lot, one I like a lot better that Waves has, an H reverb. But at this point in time, this is what I was using, and it worked perfectly. Okay, so this one, let's see what I did with this one. This one is still pitched up, but I just sang it an octave lower. And that's just a slight little EQ on there. Okay, I'm not sure what I did right here. I must have chopped a different piece of it. Let me see. Okay. So it's the same. I took this piece and added it to the reverse track. So it made it kind of like a. Let me turn these back on. Yeah. So what we get all together. And that's it. And that ended up being, hold on, let me see, where is it? Here we go.
Future Hendrix. Dej Loaf, I got you, baby.
You can hear it. Same sounds. And you're about to hear the little voice come in. It's gonna be quiet and in the background, but you're gonna hear it.
And I got what you need. Hey there, we're back.
You're gonna hear it.
What we doing?
Hey there,
Yeah, baby.
hey there,
Just turn up on them.
hey
I see you looking good.
My homies were so pissed when this came out. Say like, I can't believe you on there singing, singing your heart out on a song in Future and Dej. And I always laugh when I listen to this because I'm like, I wish somebody could have seen me in the studio making this, bro. I should have recorded it. At that point in time, I wasn't thinking like that. I was just, I was just trying to figure it out. Um, but every time I listen to that, I just laugh because like it's so funny. It's so funny, dog. But the reason why I like making videos like this is because it takes the mysticism out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point in time, I'm 27, 28, something like that. And I'm just in the studio just trying stuff. Like, hey, maybe this will work. I mean, listen to this, bro. This is this. Wait a minute. This is for the next time you doubt yourself. Any producer, any artist, next time you doubt yourself and you feel like you're not good enough, I want you to come back to this. Listen to this. Listen to this video. I'm making up words, bro. I'm not even saying anything. And that turned into this.
Yeah, yeah, baby. Turn up on 'em.
So that's all I'm saying, man. It's it's all about the creativity, how creative you can get. You know, to me, thinking outside the box is a greater talent than like sometimes being talented, right? Think about some of the most talented singers you know, right? I hate to use her as an example because I don't want to seem like I'm like downing her or whatever or her career, but like I always use Jennifer Hudson as an example, right? Jennifer Hudson is one of those people who like has a crazy big, beautiful voice, strong, powerful. But like, bruh, you can't name me 5 Jennifer Hudson songs. What are they? With a gun to your head, name me 5 Jennifer Hudson, bro. You're dead. You don't know 5 Jennifer Hudson songs, bro. I don't care who you are, okay? Nobody. We don't know 5 Jennifer Hudson songs, dog. But then somebody like a Rihanna or a Kaylani who are still very super talented in their own right, but they don't have like blow the roof off the top of the building type of voices like a Jennifer Hudson does. But you can name 5 Rihanna songs easily. And so my point is, and I've always stressed this since I've been in this, like since I was real young, I've always stressed that like, bro, creativity and originality is gonna win every time. It doesn't matter if you're the best singer. It doesn't matter if you're the best producer, the best musician. You don't have to be. You just have to think differently, and you have to as you develop your own style, you have to like not be afraid to live in that world and be like, you know what? Nah, this is how I like to do things. This is how I like my stuff to sound, and that's what it is. That's what it's gonna be, right? I'm not gonna betray my. I'm not gonna betray like my own thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stay with it. I'm gonna see it through. And so that's how you can go through the process of like making something like this, where it's like leading up to the final result. It sounds ridiculous, but you got the vision. You got the vision. And like I always say, that's what sound design is really about. Sound design is really about vision. You got to have a vision and just you got to have a vision and you got to be willing to experiment. Because what if my first, like I said, this was my third version of make it of this, third or fourth. But what if after I did the first one and they rejected it? What if I'd have just been like, I can't do it. I don't know what to do. No, like I just kept trying. And now, over a decade later, I still get paid off this song. And it's still a big song. I just went and did a show with Dej at Jackson State in Mississippi. These are college kids, 18, 19, 20, 21 year olds, bro. They sing it every word for word, bro, front to back. This song came out in 2016, 2015. So that's the beautiful thing about music, bro. Like it got let like you just don't ever really know what you're working on and what it can be, what it's gonna become, what it can do for you. So that's all. I think I'm done. It's been okay. Yeah, it's only been about 35 minutes, but this is about half hour. Perfect. Um, hopefully something I said in this is helpful. um, we got the academy open, so we got some sound design stuff, tutorials in there. We also got some playback engineering stuff in there, some mixing stuff in there. If you need to learn, especially if you're a producer that needs to learn like engineering, like we got all of that in there. I also do when I have time, I do one on ones. All the links are in the description. If you want to link up with me directly, you can do that. Um, or if you just have a question or something, just you can shoot me a message on in the comments here. People comment on my videos sometimes, and like I'll answer your question right in the comments. Um, or hit me on IG, 87 Sound Co. 87 Sound Co. is the IG. Hit me up on IG if you got questions or whatever. Um, or if you're an artist who's interested in collaborating, production wise, mixing wise, whatever the case may be. And I'm not just like, if it's not something I can do or I don't think I'm the best fit for it, like I'll point you in the right direction. Like I got a great network of people. I've been doing this for a long time. Um, and I've been blessed to be in the company of some very, very talented and successful people. Um, so that's it, man. Y'all be good. Peace.